I started eating gluten-free around 7 years ago when I made the choice to begin to improve my gut health. It sent me on a journey of learning so much about so many different types of grains and flours and beginning to play around with all of these different options. One thing that I came to find was all of these sandwiches and burritos and tacos that I loved so much. I no longer had a great gluten-free option for these items. And I spent years going to different grocery stores trying to find a gluten-free bread that just hit the spot, and I still have yet to find one. So I started playing around in my kitchen and creating my own. And I am happy to say that today I have a gluten-free bread that is delicious, it is wonderful, it's easy to make, it is healthy, it is gut friendly, it doesn't fall apart, it is not dense or anything like that, it is wonderfully moist, and I am happy to share it with you today. If you are in the kitchen with me today making this bread, you're going to want to start with some flax meal. You can buy flax meal already ground at the grocery store, or if you buy flax seed, you can grind it in a little spice grinder like I have here. You're also going to want some almond flour, some brown rice flour, as well as some coconut flour, a little bit of salt, some hemp seeds, and water. We'll start with 1 cup of water. It might take a little more than that. You'll also want some apple cider vinegar. And those hemp seeds we will grind into more of a flour as well too. You will notice today that as we go through this recipe, all ingredients that are used are whole food and plant-based. I have found this style of eating is what works best for my body after a few years of trial and error. Before we start mixing things together, go ahead and set your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And you're going to want a little bit of either coconut oil or avocado oil and a bread loaf pan. The size of this pan doesn't matter too much, as the bread itself will hold its own shape and will not take the shape of the pan that it is in. Grab yourself a medium to large size mixing bowl, and we will start with our almond flour. I tried to make the quantities of the ingredients as easy as possible as well, so you're going to want 1 cup of almond flour, 1 cup of brown rice flour, and 3/4 cups of coconut flour. I found this combination to be the best to create a soft texture to the bread, one that's not too dry and not too crumbly. Go ahead and add in some baking soda as well, a 1/2 tablespoon of baking soda. This will help the bread to fluff up just the perfect amount. You're also going to want 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And those ground hemp seeds, which was a 1/4 cup of hemp seeds. And coming back to our flax meal, you're going to want 3 tablespoons of ground flaxseed. The flax seeds will help bind this together, as well as 3 tablespoons of ground psyllium husk. The psyllium husk is what really binds everything together and keeps the bread from not getting crumbly. It is also wonderful for fiber. Go ahead and whisk everything together until it is all thoroughly combined. Either in a separate bowl or straight into your flour mixture, you're going to start with 1 cup of water. I actually ended up using 1 3/4 cups. However, you will want to adjust this for your own recipe, but it should be right around the 1 3/4 cup of water plus 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Begin to stir this together. You will notice that it will begin to poof up a little bit from the combination of the apple cider vinegar and the baking soda. Go ahead and begin to stir, folding the dough around. You really can't go wrong here, so don't worry too much. And once it becomes mixable with your hands, go ahead and fold it over onto itself. The dough should be nice and soft and wonderfully moist. If it crumbles a little, go ahead and add a little bit of water. But you should be able to grab it out of your bowl easily and roll it into your bread shape with no problem. And if there are any cracks, add a little bit more water. Otherwise, it is perfect just like that. Grab that loaf pan that you had put some oil in previously and put your little loaf of bread right on in. If you want to get fancy, you can add in a little bit of decoration on top of your loaf by using a knife and creating a few slits in the top of your bread. I will show you that here in a second. And you can also brush on a little bit of oil on top. This will help it get a little extra of that goldeny brown color in the oven. However, I will say not too much, but it's still fun to do. So this is where you can add that decoration if you want. Just take a knife and just create a few little slits on the top. Only like a couple millimeters down, it's not too much. So there is your loaf of bread. Your oven should be ready to go now. We're going to put this in the oven for 30 minutes. And watch it as it goes too, as your oven might be either slightly warmer or cooler. And after 30 minutes, your loaf of bread should have poofed up just slightly. You might notice a little bit of separation in your decoration if you put some in your bread. And then do let this cool completely on the countertop or the stove. You can also put it in the fridge, but do let it cool completely before you begin to slice it. One way to check to see if your bread is done is by taking a knife and placing it into the middle of the loaf, and if nothing comes back off onto the knife, your bread is ready. So once your bread is completely cool, you can slice it. This is the next day once I let it cool in the fridge. And your bread should look a little something like this. I like to put pesto on mine with a little bit of kimchi. You can do whatever you want, of course. Hummus is really good, peanut butter is really good, almond butter is really good, or just as is, and toasted is wonderful as well too. I hope you enjoyed this gluten-free bread recipe. If you give it a try, definitely let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for joining me here today. I will see you in the next recipe video. Oh, doesn't that look just so good? It's delicious too. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you know who can benefit from it too. This helps spread the love and joy to more people who enjoy it as well. Thank you.